I just think our intention, focus coming out of the game, like obviously tough loss the other day, coming off that, um, in terms of executing the game plan, um, and just like our competitiveness from the jump. Obviously, third quarter, great effort there too. I thought we actually stepped it up in the third quarter, even though they scored two more points relative to the first. But start of the game, start of the half, like two phenomenal defensive efforts, and be able to get stops and run. On a night that or afternoon that we didn't really shoot it very well, was probably the difference in the game. I don't know especially with Mangus. I don't know if we did a great job taking him out of the game. Like he had some really good looks that just didn't go down tonight. That would have completely changed things. For them. So, and Wong very capable of making a couple of those too. Like I thought we were a little soft. Like on some unders and not being into him as much to make him uncomfortable. I'm sure they're looking at the box score the same way we are in terms of like, guys didn't make shots, and it's a huge difference in the game when it comes down to it. But, I do think like overall, like holding a team to 92 points is, there's definitely some good defense in there. And I think we've got to be even better, coming back tomorrow. We can't expect those two guys to, go 1 for 13 from the 3-point line, or for them to shoot, 22%, and hopefully the same for us that, we don't shoot 21%, but, it's a 3-point line's a game of variance, and sometimes they go in, sometimes they don't. You always got to have your defense. Yeah, a huge credit to him. Like I thought he played a fantastic game. He's got 11 and 8, 5 offensive rebounds, which is probably a season high for him. And a game where it's a little bit different, like no JD. Delano comes in. He's handling a little bit. Trying to incorporate him into the offense, and Jordan just like let the game come to him. I thought he made every right read. Super selfless off the ball, screening for guys, and again crashing the offensive glass, and then defensively. We changed up at halftime and put him on the 5, where he's more involved in switching to take away some of their looks and some of their flow. But like you said, and that's in 25 minutes. Usually he's playing 30 plus. A couple more of those shots go down. Especially free throws, and he's easily putting up 15, 16, 17 points, and probably double-digit rebounds easily if he's playing his normal minutes. Got to the end of the game, and we were up, where it's like with the back-to-back, try to manage him, try to manage DJ, going into tomorrow. So, I thought it was fantastic. Like box score-wise, like he's probably looking at it thinking, he didn't play great, but with all the context going into the day, I think it was one of his best games of the year.
So we get
it's kind of our first go around with it. Like we've had Nemi a couple times. It's a little bit different when you're inserting, a center, a guy who's screening and defending and rolling and all that stuff. Like that's a little simpler task to manage. So first time for us, like especially our guys try to use him as a primary handler. Just get him minutes, get him some run, so that he can just experience playing and get into a rhythm. But really for him, for us, like he's basically showing up 24 hours before the game, less than that. Yesterday afternoon, evening, and it's like just keep it simple. He's a really good basketball player. He's seen a bunch. Like we don't have to overcomplicate things. Fortunately for us, we try to keep everything, at least from a terminology standpoint, the same way as Boston, so I could still communicate with him, even if a play might be a little bit of a wrinkle or a little bit different. It's still the same terminology. But overall, just keeping things simple for those two guys, and let them play. Like not try to, clog their mind with here's all of our plays and all this stuff. It's like, our guys barely remember them. So a guy that just got here, we can't expect too much out of that. So just let them play free, for the most part. Obviously, we want to be organized. We want to be, disciplined. We want to execute. But there's nothing that he hasn't seen in an NBA game or a G League game at this point in his career that's going to surprise him in terms of coverages or whatever. You're just putting him in actions and letting him play. Yeah, it would have been nice, get him out of foul trouble, keep him out of foul trouble. I kind of, finished with 4, but, had 4 at halftime. A couple ticky-tack ones, just needs to be a little bit more disciplined. And, a little bit of a concern when you got some it's the G League and wild bodies and flying into the paint where you got to be even more disciplined. But I think he just impacts the game so much as an athlete and with his size and strength and ability to guard in multiple ways. We put him on the 5, we put him on wings. He switched down to the point guard. Had a huge block shot there in the first half. Where he's so versatile and so dynamic with his athleticism and size and length, especially defensively, but then offensively, like his ability to set physical screens and get out quick and get on the rim just puts so much pressure on the defense. I think his resilience overall. He's a guy who's kind of fluctuated, as you mentioned, the start of the year. Coming off the bench behind Nate Knight to starting a bit. He's dealt with some sickness here and there. He's dealt with a broken nose, where he's kind of like his role is probably one of the guys that's just fluctuated and changed the most. Again, like with earlier in the year, where it's like Nemi's coming down for a couple games. It's like you're going from starting sometimes to completely out of rotation to playing the backup spot, and he's really just maintained his focus. He's maintained a professionalism. Where he's had games where he was supposed to be out of the rotation, foul trouble, this, that, and the other, and all of a sudden he's like getting thrown in the game and he's ready to go. So like that level of professionalism and humility, and it's proven itself. Tonight came in obviously 4 for 4, like great stat line, 8 points, 4 rebounds, 23 minutes. I thought 4 block shots, did a phenomenal job protecting the rim. That level of growth, he's just getting more and more comfortable within our defensive schemes with what's being asked of him, and trusting his teammates behind him that when he goes to cover for them, they're going to cover for him. Yeah, by far. I mean, he was defensive player of the game for us. Like, he came in, completely changed the dynamic of the game with his pressure, picking up in the half court, getting into guys, just being he was the one guy that was consistently into the ball. And making them uncomfortable on the perimeter, and just forcing turnovers, getting strips, forcing tough shots, funneling guys to Nemi and Kyler, and then getting hits and running. He was pretty much involved in almost all of the turnovers we forced, and when he was out there, and again, like I said, on a night where you don't shoot it well and you're able to generate turnovers and get out in advantage situations to score, and we had 32 points off their turnovers. That's a massive margin to win by. But credit to him. Like you said, that was the most he's played, and because when you're having that much of an impact, we got to find a way to get him on the floor and keep him on the floor for us. So offensively, he continues to get more and more comfortable with what's being asked of him, and similar to Jordan Walsh in the sense of his selflessness. You got Delano and Drew out there, and trying to play through them quite a bit, and he's doing his job every single time, going and screening, pulling behind, ready to shoot when he's open, knock one down, had a couple rim out, that probably fall, and I just thought defensively though, that just changed everything for us.